My name is Gibba. I am 22 years of age. I'm an activist and a Gambian. And how I get to be into activism is because when I was a young boy, I tend to understand that children, we are lacking so much when it comes to the Gambia. Rape was high, child abuse was high. This have got me to realize that I have a role to play when it comes to my community and to the Gambia at large. From there, I decided to join different organizations whereby I will be able to talk about issues that are affecting young people in a bigger platform. And one of those organizations I joined was Voice of the Young back in the days when I was in grade 5. And with that, I would tend to understand much about child's rights and responsibilities that children also have in relationship to those rights. And with that, I get to use different platforms, the media, get to engage different young people, stakeholders, National Assembly members to talk about children issues at a bigger platform. And this have now moved me to the extent that I know that I can in fact represent young people in a bigger platform today that I am a youth. I think when it comes to my work as a young person, I am currently the information officer for Your Change for a Change, also the deputy chairperson for Activista came, and also a global youth ambassador from a Wallet school. All these positions have given me the opportunity to be able to represent Gambia at a bigger platform, representing 65% of the Gambian population. And I also hope that other young people will learn from my experience and other people's experience to be able to contribute immensely to the Gambia. In the Gambia, talking about sexual and reproductive health is a taboo because our parents do not in fact talk to us about sexual and reproductive health. And this have allowed young people for them to be able to just go randomly to be involved in sexual activities without even having no idea about how they can protect themselves. So I think when it comes to advocating for sexual and reproductive health, we need to bring back Pop FLE in our educational system. I definitely urge the Ministry of Education for us to be able to bring back Pop FLE, where these kids, young people, will be able to have an informed choices at a very early age about what sex is all about. Coming from the Gambia, sex is a big word that people do not even want to use when it comes to learning, when it comes to sitting with their family members. Our parents do not even talk to us about sex. Peer-to-peer do not even talk about sex. And then it is high time for us to break the culture of silence and know that if we do not talk about this, the teenage pregnancy rate is going to be higher, STIs is going to be higher. And in the Gambia, once women or a young boy become a young dad, or a young girl becoming a young mother, society tends to discriminate you. Your dad might even if you're a girl, your dad might even send you out of his compound to say that you are a disgrace. What are the ways that we can make sure that we solve this problem? Is for us to be able to give these young people the information about these sex issues, for them to be able to know already that if I am involved in sexual activities, this and this is what is going to happen. But then if we do not talk about this, we are still going to face the same problem. Poverty is going to be high, our population is going to be high, unwanted teenage pregnancy is going to be high, and with all of that, that does not move a country forward. We need these young people to be able to be physically, mentally, emotionally strong when they are ready to become mothers and fathers. So with that, I think it is high time for us to talk about sexual and reproductive health, but most especially family planning, because we also want these young people to also know how to plan their family. Because if you do not know how to plan your family, that is where you can just do whatever you want to do. And then, coming in Gambia, people believe that family planning is a problem. Family planning is what is destroying our kids. Family planning is what is destroying our marriage. But I always say this, that family planning started way before family planning started. Because in fact, if you have to look in our society, women are giving some charms to protect themselves from getting pregnant. Is that in family planning? That is family planning. Back in the days, if you are married to a man and then you have a child, they will remove you from your husband's home and take you to your parents' home until your child is physically grown up, for you to be able to give back to another healthy child again. That will also allow the other child to be able to breastfeed, to have exclusive breastfeeding from the mom. That is family planning. But then if you now come to the new generation of family planning, now family planning is telling you that you don't even need to go to your home anymore. You can use family planning contraceptive, and then you will be just as fine as you can. And then when it comes to when we talk about sexual transmitted infections like STIs, HIV, and AIDS. Now that in the Gambia, people do not even talk about it much because we believe that there was a treatment for HIV and AIDS. But people still have to understand that treatment and cure are two different things. HIV and AIDS is still not curable, and for the treatment it's possible, but to cure it, it's still a problem. And young people also need to know what sex is all about before getting involved themselves in sexual activities. When it comes to our educational system in Gambia, young people are taught to be job seekers and not job creators. And when it comes to that, it is very hard for young people to be able to start up their own businesses. At the end of the day, employ different young people from different walks of life. And with that, now that we have seen that young people are beginning to take this bold stand for them to be able to even though like our system doesn't allow them to be job creators, but they're able to stand up to say that this is what we can do to be able to start up our own businesses, whereby we will be able to include different young people from everywhere, from the whole country, and then get them in for us to be able to move the Gambian economic forward. But then when it comes to addressing the issue of unemployment, we definitely have to go back to our root, our educational system. We also have to know that there are other young people also who also have talents, but at the end of the day, they don't even know how to show people that this is what I can do. So we need to make sure that all those areas are exploited, and these young people are actually called upon for them to be able to show exactly what they can do when it comes to unemployment in the Gambia. And with that, we will be able to harness the demographic dividend, and irregular migration will also reduce, because at the end of the day, we will have a lot of employment, young people will be employed, and then we will not be having young people moving to find greener pasture outside.
The blood and entrails feed the
Much advocacy have been done on FGM and child marriage, but then before I go further, I just want to say thank you very much to the Gambian government for putting a ban on child marriage and FGM. When it comes to FGM, FGM is the removal of the clitoris from the female genitalia without no medical reason. That is to say, if you remove the clitoris from the female vagina and to deprive her of from having feelings, to deprive her from having sexual pleasure without no medical reason, is what we call FGM. And according to the World Health Organization, over 2 million girls alive today have gone through FGM. That means that most of these young girls are going to have difficulty going through childbirth. Most of these young girls are not going to gain sexual pleasure when it comes to having sex with their partners. That means that most of these young women and girls are going to be faced with some health implication, and when it comes to childbirth. And when it comes to our society discriminates girls who have not gone through FGM to the extent of calling them Solima, meaning the pure one. I think my girl child would rather be called a Solima, which is a pure person, than to go on the FGMC and at the end of the day have all those complications. And people still associate it with religion and traditional belief. People say that it is religiously permitted for people to do. But then I know that some people will tell you that it is a choice. But I know that when something is a choice, you need to allow the person to grow up to be able to make that choice for him or herself. But then if women and girls are not given the chance for them to be able to make that choice for themselves, I think it is harmful and that it is against the law now in Gambia. And when it comes to Child marriage. Child marriage, most young girls today have been removed from school to be put into marriage. But then, like I said, marriage is not a union of bodies, but then it is a union of soul. People need to be physically, emotionally, sexually ready for them to be involved to get into marriage. Marriage is not a child play. It is a game of adult, and we should leave the children out of it. And thank you very much, like I said, to the Gambian government for putting a law banning child marriage in the Gambia. And people who have seen, putting these children into danger can be sentenced to so many years in prison. And then I think we need to allow young people to be, children most especially, to be able to go to school, graduate, actually find out what they are good at, be employed, for them to be able to help their family, for them to be able to help their children when it comes to providing for them. And we cannot move this country if women and girls are left behind. And then we need to make sure that we bring them on board. We need to make sure that we empower them. We need to make sure that we support them for us to be able to move this nation forward. Women and girls are not only good at delivering babies. Women can deliver economics, they can deliver nations, they can deliver continents, and for that we need to bring them on board to be able to allow them to grow, to be able to bring them towards national development, to be able to bring them on the table in critical thinking and decision-making processes. So with that, I think I will say people need to stop FGMC, we need to stop FGMC, we need to stop child marriage, and more advocacy too needs to be done when it comes to FGMC and child marriage. Just because of a law has been passed, now that we have a law, meaning that FGMC and child marriage issue need not to be discussed in Gambia. This is the time that we in fact need to talk to people more about it, for them to be able to familiarize themselves with some of these laws, and to know that if you take a girl child to practice FGMC, you're breaking the law and you can be sentenced for that, or you can be charged for that. And if you take a child for her to get married, you're actually breaking the law and you can be sentenced to that. So people need to get aware of these laws, and like I said before, marriage is not a child play. We should leave it in the hands of the adults. Access to primary education should be a right for all. Children need to be exposed to different learning systems, and they need to get in school at a very early age. And this will allow them physically for their brain to mature quickly, and for them to be able to get involved with some of these activities that are going on around the world. If young people are not given the chance to go to school and being allowed to go to the farmland every day without being able to have knowledge on what exactly they should be doing, I think this is going to hinder the development of the Gambia, and in fact themselves in general and their families. So we need these young people to be able to go to school, to be able to grow, to be able to become role models, to be able to become the next generation of leaders, the next generation of leaders of Africa. So we need young people to get in school, and we need that now. And we need access to free education for all young people.